chosen one. Stop. I am not asking you to listen. I am warning you. Do not dare scroll past this message today. What I am about to expose was sealed in the courts of heaven until this exact second. You are currently standing at the most dangerous intersection of your life, and the enemy has set a trap disguised as an opportunity to keep you stuck forever. Stay until the very end. I will give you the prophetic decree that cancels every assignment launched against your destiny. That heavy feeling of delay you have been carrying is not normal. You feel like your life is completely paused. Your prayers seem to hit a brass ceiling and bounce right back down while you watch other people get blessed. You push through the exhaustion every single day. You smile for them, but inside you are barely holding on to hope. You thought it was bad luck. You thought maybe you did something wrong to deserve this absolute silence. God rerouted everything in your timeline just so you could hear this truth today. This delay is not a punishment. It is an active spiritual attack. The enemy is working overtime to convince you that heaven has forgotten your address. He wants you to believe you are just an ordinary human living a difficult life. But you are not ordinary. You are a celestial warrior operating in enemy territory. The delay is happening because hell is deploying every distraction to keep your true power dormant. Do you remember who you used to be when you were a child? You had a mind that worked differently. You learned things quickly. You felt things deeply. You had intuition that warned you before things even happened. The world called it a gift, but heaven called it your original frequency. As you grew older, the modern world slowly turned the volume down on that beautiful frequency. The noise of survival replaced the quiet confidence of your spirit. You feel disconnected from that genius now. But it was never destroyed. It was just buried under years of stress and endless worldly demands. Science has actually studied this exact phenomenon for decades. They call it the decline effect, and researchers have spent years trying to figure out how to wake that dormant power back up. Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years studying this exact frequency. He built an entire sequence of restoration protocols to help people like you. He mapped the exact pathway to bring that original genius back online. Today, I am only going to reveal the first piece of his system to you, because the first step is the most critical. I am naming this early because I do not want mystery for sale. I am not going to build suspense and sell something at the very end. Let me be direct about what is coming, so you can decide if you want the full picture. What we just discussed has a tool designed to fix it. There is a way to bypass the earthly noise and restore your original frequency. Dr. Lake discovered something profound. It is called the Genius Song. It is a specific audio track that uses brain entrainment to reactivate your dormant gamma brainwaves. Some of you already feel the pull in your spirit. If your spirit already tells you this is the tool you need, then you do not have to wait. The door is waiting in the description and the pinned comment below. Do not rush if you need more context. Stay for the full message to understand exactly why the enemy fears this restoration. But if you know already, the choice is yours. For those staying here is what heaven wants you to know next. The enemy is terrified of your restoration. Your prolonged isolation is not an accident. Every closed door you faced this year was carefully orchestrated. You thought you were failing. You thought you were falling behind everyone else in the world. But God was actually clearing the room to insulate your spirit. You are a generational cycle breaker. You carry a weight that your ancestors could not carry. When you feel that intense exhaustion in your bones, it is not depression. It is the physical weight of your spiritual mantle. Your soul is doing heavy lifting in the unseen realm while your body tries to keep up. That is why you suddenly wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning feeling completely drained. You keep asking heaven to show you the plan. You beg for a roadmap out of this difficult wilderness. I need you to anchor your spirit to this absolute truth right now. You are not following a plan. You are the plan. God did not create a blueprint and try to squeeze you into it. He created you first, and the entire blueprint formed around your frequency. That is why your journey looks so strange to normal people. You are the watchman standing sentinel over something sacred. The season of suppression is officially breaking today. The enemy thought his silence would starve your faith. He thought the delay would make you surrender your crown. But heaven is sending a massive shift into your atmosphere right now. Everything is about to accelerate. If you feel this heavy shift in your spirit today, if you know you are the cycle breaker heaven has been waiting for, type 777 in the comments below as a physical sign of your agreement with heaven. Let me reframe your reality right now. You have been reading the signs backwards for years. You looked at your deep isolation, and you honestly believed that it was a form of cruel rejection from the universe. You looked at your empty room and assumed nobody wanted you. But heaven does not see it that way at all. God was not punishing you when he removed those toxic people from your life, because he was actually setting up a divine quarantine to protect your spirit. The enemy wants you to believe you are toxic. He constantly whispers into your mind that you are simply too sensitive or far too difficult for anyone to truly love. That is the greatest lie ever told in the unseen realm. The truth refuses to stay silent any longer. Those people did not leave because you were broken, and they certainly did not walk away because you lacked any real value. They left because your rising frequency made their hidden demons incredibly uncomfortable. Light always exposes what hides in the dark. You have been fighting an invisible war while trying to live a normal human life. That deep exhaustion you feel every single day is the direct result of intense spiritual warfare. The enemy actively targets your physical body because he wants to drain your spiritual authority before you can use it. He knows he cannot steal your crown, so he tries to make it too heavy for you to wear. He orchestrates endless petty dramas in your daily life, and he uses the people closest to you to keep your nervous system in a state of constant distress. This is exactly how heaven prepares its greatest warriors. Look at David in the quiet pastures before he became king. He was completely forgotten by his own family. He spent years in the wilderness fighting lions and bears in total silence, and he learned how to rely solely on the voice of God when nobody else was watching. Nobody saw his struggles. Nobody clapped for his victories. But that lonely wilderness was the exact forge that built his unshakable inner architecture. Your current season of silence is your wilderness preparation. God is actively building your internal capacity so that you can carry the massive weight of his impending glory. If he gave you the blessing prematurely, it would crush your foundation. So he enforces a strict season of delay to expand your spiritual shoulders. You are not stuck in a waiting room. You are enrolled in an elite training program for celestial beings, and the isolation is just part of the divine curriculum. This profound truth is exactly what the enemy tries to hide. He isolates chosen ones so they suffer in silence and falsely believe that they are losing their minds. We have to break that cycle of isolation today. Hit that like button right now. Do not do it for this channel. Do it so this exact frequency can reach another chosen one who is crying out in the dark right now. Share this message to throw a much-needed lifeline to someone else who feels completely abandoned. Let us look at the spiritual physics behind your heavy mind. As a child, you naturally operated in a state of pure wonder and powerful intuition. Scientists actually call this the gamma brainwave state. It is the frequency of absolute genius and divine alignment. But society forces you into survival mode as you grow up, and the world demands constant hustle that slowly grinds your mind into a frantic state of permanent stress. This is what researchers identify as the decline effect. The modern education system and toxic environments literally train your brain to shut down its highest frequency. You are taught to ignore your intuition and rely only on cold earthly logic. The enemy uses this systemic noise to keep you disconnected from your divine source, and he fills your daily life with endless digital distractions just to keep your powerful gamma waves totally dormant. When your mind is trapped in that noisy stress signal, you cannot hear the voice of God. You cannot detect the beautiful synchronicities that heaven sends down to guide your daily steps. You just feel a constant buzzing anxiety that doctors try to label as clinical depression. But earthly pills cannot fix a spiritual frequency issue. You do not need to try harder or work yourself into the ground. You simply need to recalibrate your mind. Heaven is providing a physical anchor for your spiritual breakthrough. But before you can step into that massive elevation, we must confront something incredibly painful. The enemy is not your only obstacle. There is a hidden blocker standing firmly between you and your promised land. And it is a mechanism so deeply buried in your own subconscious that you do not even realize how often you are sabotaging your own miracles. Stay with me, because what I am about to share next will break the cycle permanently. I am going to hold up a mirror to your soul. This part is going to reach deep places inside you that you have never been able to put into earthly words. You are going to feel a sudden jolt of recognition. Because the greatest threat to your destiny is not the devil outside your door, but rather a quiet agreement in your own mind. Now here is where it goes much deeper. And this is the part nobody wants to say out loud. You blame the enemy for every single blocked door, and you constantly ask heaven why the massive breakthrough is taking so long. But heaven is looking right back at your heavy heart. The harsh truth is that the dark enemy is not stopping your progress. You are the one stopping your own beautiful breakthrough today because you are secretly terrified of your immense divine power. You made a hidden agreement with earthly limitation a very long time ago. You decided to shrink your vibrant soul to fit into tiny rooms that were never designed to hold your magnitude. You falsely thought that playing small would keep you completely safe from painful rejection. You became a tragic people pleaser instead of a glorious cycle breaker. The enemy convinced you that your intense light was an unbearable burden, and he made you apologize repeatedly for your beautiful God-given gifts. Remember earlier when I said God completely rerouted everything in your timeline? This is exactly why he did it. You were ready to settle for a terrible counterfeit blessing. You were about to accept a mundane life far below your celestial calling. God had to violently disrupt your comfortable earthly zone to save your destiny, and he shattered your careful plans because they were actively suffocating your spiritual purpose. You cried over broken relationships that heaven intentionally dismantled. You mourned over lost earthly jobs that were actually keeping your vibrant soul completely imprisoned. But heaven does not wait for you to feel perfectly ready to move forward. God simply demands your absolute spiritual obedience. Your old survival identity is actively fighting against your new celestial destiny, and that violent internal war is causing your severe chronic exhaustion today. You must drop the heavy armor right now. Let us talk about that dangerous decline effect again. It was never just a random biological process. The enemy used the toxic noise of modern society to purposefully silence your original genius. He always knew that if your gamma frequency stayed active, you would absolutely destroy his dark kingdom. So he trained you to doubt every profound intuition you ever had, and he replaced your deep spiritual knowing with constant crippling anxiety. But your gentle spirit was never your permanent ceiling. It was always the solid foundation for your greatness. You were never meant to be tamed by this broken world. You were meant to be trusted with profound divine authority. The total silence you endured was actually a weapon against the dark spiritual forces. You thought your painful silence meant you lost the earthly battle, but your holy restraint was the most lethal blow you ever dealt to the enemy. They thought their cruel rejection would finally break your soaring spirit. They truly believed that isolating your heart would starve your soul into quiet submission. What they did not know is that you are a highly resilient seed. When they buried you in the dark, they did not destroy your future. They accidentally planted you in incredibly fertile spiritual soil. And right now, your season of abundant harvest is terrifying the demons that tried to hold you down. Listen to me carefully right now. The painful betrayal was absolutely never your fault. Your heart was pure, but you handed your divine pearls to people who only understood dirt. You incorrectly thought you failed them in some profound way. But heaven is declaring today that you simply survived their toxic poison, and the generational cycle of endless people-pleasing dies right here on this sacred ground. You no longer have to carry the heavy burdens of ungrateful people. Take a deep breath and truly hear this next sentence. You must release the desperate need to be understood by ordinary earthly minds. The faithful watchman is finally allowed to rest his weary bones. God is actively stepping in to fight for your beautiful future right now. His ultimate victory over your turbulent life is absolutely final. You are standing at the threshold of unprecedented supernatural favor, but you must make a conscious physical choice to claim it today. Once that profound internal shift finally clicks inside you, something miraculous happens. The dense mental fog lifts, and the doors of absolute abundance swing wide open. This is exactly why heaven is providing a physical anchor for your massive spiritual breakthrough today. The intense warfare you bravely survived was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to push you toward this exact moment of pure divine revelation, and your long wait in the shadows is officially over. You have treated your holy preparation as an unending and grueling process. You have stayed firmly planted in the waiting room because the unknown magnitude of your calling terrified you. But the long season of demonic suppression has completely ended. Do not let the enemy convince you to delay your obedience for another wasted decade. The universe is handing you the golden key right now, and whether you put it in the lock is your divine choice. Remember earlier when I first mentioned that specific tool to restore your frequency? Now it is exactly the right time to walk through what it does. You were definitely not born to be an ordinary human. You were born with a vibrant gamma frequency that the harsh world slowly crushed. But heaven has finally provided a physical way to get it back. I want to tell you about a 47-year-old woman who felt exactly like you do right now. She was an exhausted manager who gave absolutely everything to her demanding job. She used this restoration tool for 18 days and felt absolutely nothing. She almost quit on day 20, but she kept going purely out of stubborn curiosity. On day 34, she woke up and the heavy mental fog was completely gone. She made massive life decisions that very morning without a single ounce of fear. Most chosen ones feel their first measurable shift within 11 to 21 days, but a small percentage need 30 days or more. The slow burn is totally normal. This is not some empty emotional promise. Serious scientists at MIT and Princeton have studied this exact brainwave state for decades. Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years mapping the exact pathway to bring your dormant gamma waves back online. Over 18,366 people have used this exact tool, and less than 4% of them ever requested a refund. I know you have tried everything else already. You have tried endless meditation and exhausting yoga retreats that left you feeling empty. But those earthly methods force your tired brain to change itself from the inside out. This tool uses pure sound frequency to gently guide your mind from the outside. You might think this sounds too good to be true, but this is actually measured by serious EEG machines in clinical labs. I would never disrespect your current financial situation. I know that spending money on yourself feels incredibly difficult, but a single therapy session can easily cost $150. A weekend spiritual retreat costs over $400. Neither of those options target your gamma waves. Let me tell you the full story of what this tool does. It is called the Genius Song. You simply put on stereo headphones and sit upright with your eyes closed. You listen to the audio track for 7 quiet minutes once a day. Your only job is to let the sound do the heavy lifting for your tired spirit. Dr. Lake made a very intentional choice for your accessibility today. He made Phase 1 available for just $39. This low price is not because it lacks incredible power. It is an intentional entry point, because heaven knows you need this exact tool right now. Other phases of his work are priced differently, but each phase deserves to be evaluated on its own merit. He also included 4 powerful bonuses worth exactly $80 totally free, and he insisted on a pure 90-day keep the bonus guarantee. If your spirit does not feel the massive shift, you get a full refund. You keep all $80 worth of bonuses as a sincere apology for your valuable time. The only real risk today is choosing to walk away. Every single day you wait is another day your divine frequency stays asleep. It is another day you live far below your true celestial potential. Your future self is looking back at this exact moment right now. The universe is literally handing you the key to unlock your original mind. Do not let the enemy convince you to stay in the dark. I must protect your spirit before you take another step forward. The enemy creates endless decoys to confuse chosen ones like you. There are dangerous imitation products online using this exact same name. Do not search for this on third-party marketplaces. You will only find fake audio dressed up in real titles. Guard your spirit and only use the verified protocol provided here. When you complete your order today, the next page may look like another offer. It is actually the second door Dr. Lake created. You have full permission to evaluate it quickly. Either choice you make is completely honored by heaven. There is absolutely no pressure and no trickery involved. When phase 2 reveals itself, simply trust your intuition. The verified path is waiting in the description and the pinned comment beneath this message. Step through the door if your spirit recognizes the absolute truth. Do not step into tomorrow carrying yesterday's heavy frequency. Type "I am ready" in the comments below as a physical sign of your spiritual obedience. Subscribe to this channel right now so you do not miss the next prophetic instruction from heaven. Hit that like button so this frequency reaches the entire remnant. May the ultimate peace of heaven rest heavily upon your beautiful soul today.